Another idea too would be to, you can, now that we've been working 4 fingers, you can break this thing down and work just 2 fingers. And this is good for, arpeggios and, triad things and, so, if you, like for example, if I just want to work my first and second finger, I'm still using my alternate picking here. Right, so what I'm doing is I might just practice. And I'm just randomly picking strings. I mean, there's no set real pattern that I'm doing there other than I'm just using my first and second finger. I mean, I'm going up and then I'm coming back down and maybe back up. Because it really doesn't matter, I'm not really trying to be, musical at this point. I'm just trying to get my first and second finger, a little more agreeable with each other. So, you can work 2 strings like that. One thing I am doing though is I am still using alternate picking the whole time. So I'm still going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Still doing that whole thing. And that's, the idea is it continues to reinforce your right hand technique and your left hand technique. Build coordination, your brain gets to see what the fingers and the hands are doing together, and you get used to that where it becomes more of a second nature thing. So when you're playing, scales, you can kind of grab these lines and these little shapes and little fingerings easier. So working 2 fingers, and it can be any 2 fingers, obviously. I mean, if you work the first and second, you can work the first and the third. First and third, that's a lot of your pentatonic scale stuff. And I'm still using alternate picking there. I'm just going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Kind of use a sequence on that where I'm kind of going. And that's a group of 6s. What that is like I'm going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm going back down to the previous string. And that surely will help you with pentatonic stuff. So work those fingers definitely. Also, something else that will help your pentatonic playing is the first and fourth finger. And you can do the same thing with this. You can go up one set of strings, change direction. Maybe go at an angle, diagonally across the guitar. Not sure diminished arpeggio anyway. You can do that. And work those fingers in different kind of combinations. Now, one thing about the first finger and the fourth finger, a lot of times in scales, if we do major and minor scales or minor scales or whatever, some of the examples we're going to work on, you'll have a stretch. So sometimes you might want to practice, instead of being 4 frets, you might want to try 5. Let me also say this real quick about stretches and stuff like that. I'm doing a lot of this stuff down here in the first part of the fretboard. The distance between the frets here, the physical distance on the guitar, is a lot wider than it is up at the 12th fret. Okay, so jumping into this in the low area of the neck, could cause you some problems. You don't want any kind of problems. So, one thing you want to do is make sure that you've stretched out properly. You want to make sure that that you're not overexerting yourself. So start slow and simple. If you find yourself going, gosh, maybe my arm's feeling tired or whatever, then you may want to take a break, and come back to it later. So that's very important to understand. So if you're doing something a little bit more challenging than you have done before in the past, you may want to make sure that you start up at the higher frets where they're closer together, because technically the distance now between these 4 fingers is a lot smaller as far as the measurement is concerned. So if I do any stretching, you may want to practice where the frets are a little closer together. That takes care of the first to second, first to third, first to fourth. Now you can do second to third, which is always favorites. And a lot of my students, they love these things. Then you've also got third and fourth finger. Right? Then you've got second and fourth finger. Then you've got third and fourth finger stretches, but be very careful with some of this stuff at this point. Definitely want to move up to an area where your fingers are a little bit closer together just to gradually start, because that can be a killer right there. That can really hurt. And surprisingly, some people ask me, well, why would I ever need that? Like if you're doing a pentatonic scale, sometimes 3 notes. There's that stretch right there. So, you want to work it a little bit. Just go slow. Like I said before, anything that gets into some real serious stretching and stuff, you just want to take it easy. Because you need to be able to use your hands at all times. You don't want to injure anything. All right, so that's some more possibilities.